and adjust and align your body. And the knowledge part, how simple is the knowledge part? So when we close our eyes, adjust and align, close eyes and adjust and align the body, and we find body seems to be steady. Now see that what happens, what we miss. I'm using in your term, I'm conscious of the body, adjustment and alignment. I'm conscious of the eyes closed. I'm conscious of listening. What is common? I am conscious. Come on, when I'm conscious, and I'm conscious is common, and the rest are changing. I'm conscious of the body, I'm conscious of the comfort, I'm conscious of the of the eyes closed. What? So when I'm conscious, how simple it is to understand, to know that I'm consciousness. When I say I'm conscious of, it simply means I'm consciousness. Oh, is that consciousness the knower or the seer number three? Yes, we are there. We need not to do anything. But then what happens? Then what happens? What we say? The impurity, projection, and ignorance. These three causes the problem. Three factors causes the problem. What happens? The mind keeps the doubt. What doubt? That I am consciousness. Why? Because of the impurity, because of the three factors. That is the only problem in the life of a seeker. That is why we continue the journey. Being comfortable now, take it, being comfortable. So, what we say, we say that you look at the neck joint. Looking means seer. Now, what seer it is that gives us variety of experience. So, when I say you look at the neck joint, the seer number one is not there because sense organs is not looking anything. So, it is the seer number two is looking. When it is looking, the mind divides into two, seer 2 and object is neck joint and experience of sensation, comfort and steadiness. So you see, the problem is, what is the problem? Problem is when I say look or see, who is looking is what makes a difference. So someday the seer number 3 looks, we say, oh, I had a wonderful experience. Seer number 2 looks, it keeps some imaginations and ideas, and the seer number 1 we have already blocked. But blocking may cause many impressions to return. You see, we are going deeper and deeper and deeper. So again, that is why I discussed in the previous practice also. Look at the shoulder joint. So you are clear, it is the seer number 2. Seer 1 has no role. Knower number 1 has no role. But because the knower number 1 means the senses has seen the shoulder joint, it has the information in the seer number 2. So it looks there. Yes, I know where is the shoulder joint. So mind says, mind experiences sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So why I say that you look behind the sensation, comfort, and steadiness? You look behind because we want the seer number 3. So there is only a space. It is an objectless state. One thing is left missing, that we will talk later. I don't want to burden the mind. So look at the entire body, on all the joints of the body. So experience, it's a common experience. Sensation, comfort, and steadiness is there. Very good. Then we see the space. And so what happens? I'm conscious of the space. So space gives some idea that it is the objectless state of the mind. You see, it is a reverse. It is pointing the objectless state of the mind. When I say that you look into the space, that is not the meaning that when I say you look at the space. What is the meaning? The meaning is objectless state of the mind. Oh. Objectless state of the mind, that the world is absent. So when the world is absent, the seer number 3 is already there. In one way, we can say that is one way. It is transcending the mind. Okay, then we come to being carefree. You already understand. Carefree. I said free from the cares of the mind. How the mind cares? By impurity, or you can say by past impression, experiences, images. But there comes I am conscious. Again, the same thing. I'm conscious of the unwelcome thoughts and feeling. Thoughts and the feeling and the images. So now the seer number 3 is watching, observing, knowing, and that is what the witness consciousness is. But the seer number 2 interferes every moment. Why we know? Three factors of impurity, ignorance, expectation, desire, delusion. I am conscious of all the thoughts. So, one thing is that I am consciousness. And the second meaning, the mind takes in ignorance. Very subtle difference. Oh, yes, what a problem. I am aware of all the thoughts. Okay, I'm aware of all the thoughts. What we are talking, I am awareness. That we miss. We are aware, I'm consciousness, I know it, but still I miss it. We understood a very bit part of it. The mind has two parts. One is the substance, and other is the thought. Oh, yes, we have understood that part. And there is no issue, even if the mind gets carried away by any thought and the feeling, we should not invite any reaction at all. Reaction will push the mind into the impurity. You see, that is why we need to clearly understand Viveka and Vairagya. Two, and the result of the Viveka and Vairagya also. What is the result? Six treasures. What exactly we want in meditation? I want to know my real self. What that means, I am consciousness. I want to remove the ignorance. I want to think, speak, and act in the state all the time, in all conditions. So you are in knower of the body. It is the mind. Mind is the knower. So when I say you are also the knower of sensation, comfort, and steadiness, so see that? The mind has two parts. One is the experience and other is the knower part. Oh. And the same thing, you are aware of the breath. It's a knowledge. I know the breath is going in and out. And the knower, oh, knower to mind, knows sensation, comfort, and steadiness is known. Knower number two is the mind. You already know. Knower, and what is the known? The breath is going in and out. That we miss mostly because of the ignorance. Okay. So then the knower number two, now you see that knower number two and three, there is a mixture. So when I say the knower knows the thoughts, feeling in the mind, fact is that that is the knower number three, but we miss it. And if we don't miss it, then no thought ever disturb us. How it comes? By discernment and dispassion. That is what Buddha says vipassana. Seeing only perception. Oh, only perception. So Buddha, obviously, language is the problem. So in the language we see look at the breath. But then the mind says, oh, I have to focus on the breath, I have to look at the breath, I have to experience the breath. No. Looking at the breath or vipassana means I have to separate through the knowledge the knower and the known. Looking at the breath means separating in the mind, if I say, or in the by knowledge, separating by knowledge knower and the known. What is known? Known is the breath. Known is the breath and the knower is the mind. And there is another knower still who knows the mind and the breath. So that is the ultimate goal of the vipassana. That is why we learned that Buddha says emptiness. Or nothingness. So, in a way, we are doing nothing. So, our master then returns to real and unreal. Whatever is changing continuously, the name and the form is unreal. That is superimposition over the real. Only the discernment and dispassion can work here. I am conscious, hence I am consciousness. I am conscious, so I am consciousness. But mind says I am the body. So there is an awareness. There is, whether you say awareness or I'm conscious, same thing. I'm conscious, so I am consciousness, hence I am not the body. This is what we say discernment, viveka, the separation. Again, come back to vipassana. So we start with understanding or ignorance that I am the breath. No issue. We are looking at the breath. No issue. Then again, I am conscious. I am conscious. So, I am consciousness. Hence, I am not the breath. So, once we reach to that awareness of separation, it is vipassana. Simply looking at the breath is not vipassana. Focusing on the breath, yes, it gives us some relaxation, calmness, no problem. Yes, it gives. Looking at the breath without discernment is good, it relaxes. Relaxes the body, the mind, no issue. But question is, we want to succeed in meditation. We are learning, we are understanding, and then we translate that into our practice, so-called practice. It is not a practice at all. So now in the field of awareness, when the mind inside says, I am the body and I am the breath, that is superimposition. Because thought contains the knowledge. So I am the body and I am the mind, I am the breath, then we suffer, we feel pain, we have anger, we have irritation due to the absence of discernment and dispassion. Link it, contemplate and reflect on this. Whenever we suffer, we have a confusion and conflict. There is an absence of discernment and dispassion. One hand, in other way we say it is superimposition. Okay, because I'm not able to separate knower and the known. Knower number one in the known, knower number two in the known, because it interchanges. Knower, known, knower, known. But knower number three remains as it is. What is that? I'm conscious, hence I'm consciousness. Oh, clarity. I'm conscious of discomfort. So it has two parts. I'm conscious, hence I'm consciousness, and that consciousness has an experience of discomfort. They are two, not one. They are one, absence of discernment and dispassion. They are two, presence of knower and the known are two, presence of discernment and dispassion. Absent, they are knower and the known are one. Absence. So it is not the practice, it is the knowledge. It is not the practice, but the knowledge. No doubt, in the beginning, we have to do the practice. We need to do the practice until we become a seeker. After the seeker, only knowledge. We'll talk in future because any action produces a result. But when you leave the action, that result disappears. So result depends on the action at the level of body, mind, breath, intellect, ego. But what result we want? Peace. Real self is of the nature of peace. Do we need to perform any action? With the same clarity, we follow this simple knowledge. Look at the head and the neck. The moment we look, experience takes place. So that experience I have been saying, sensation, relaxation and stillness. And that experience is in the mind, known and the knower. The right arm. So when I say that move the mind on the right arm as if you are touching every cell of the right arm, that simply means I'm pointing to live into the higher awareness. Why? To have a dispassion and discernment. You see that we are not doing anything. So now the experiencer. Both are mind. That is what I am talking about, known and the knower. So what happens when we live in that state? The knower 3 is so called, if I say, is known. Left arm. Sensation, relaxation and stillness. So in order to awaken, to discern and dispassion, I say sometime look inside the left arm and be aware of, I believe you remember, calmness and quietness. And then again, I related the calmness to sensation inside the body or inside the left arm, and the quietness I related to the space within. So you are understanding clearly every aspect. I told you, knowledge is very important. Chest and the belly in the front, and the shoulder blades and the spine at the back. You are aware, you experience sensation, relaxation and stillness. So one is experience, other is experiencer, both are the mind here. And then looking inside, you move to the subtler experience, calmness and quietness. Still, it is the same thing. presence or absence. Knower and the known are two, presence of discernment and dispassion. They are one, absence of discernment. So what happens, then we become the pain, we become the discomfort, we become the thought. That very I. And then we are lost. I'm conscious, hence I am consciousness. First there is a consciousness, then the thought. Thought is not a consciousness. Any thought I am conscious, any image I am conscious, any sensation I am conscious, any sound and touch I am conscious, any experience I am conscious. I am consciousness that never changes. Note number 3. I am conscious cannot become angry, agitated, stressed. No, but I become. Now see that, but I become. Why? Simple, due to absence of D&D, discernment and dispassion. Knower and the known appears one. I am conscious of peace. Peace is different. So this peace is different because it comes from the body and the mind by being comfortable and being carefree, and then breathing and other practices. From this peace, we transcend to the peace of the real self. And that is what Patanjali explains 7 or 8 different types of meditation. So, knowledge of the real self comes by Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasa. What is the nature of that knowledge? Understanding of real and unreal. What is the real? What is the result? I know real as real and I know unreal as unreal. That is awakening. In a simple language. Then what happens? We play with a seer number 1 living in the world. So just remind yourself of your house, your relations, your clothes, whatever comes to the mind. So it is happening in the seer number 2 at this time. Because we are seeing those thoughts and feeling and images without the help of the sense organ. That is one way to look at the knower number 2. We already know that knower number 1, the sense organs, looks at the word of name and the form, the sound, the feel and the touch. All the senses becomes the knower number 1. So whatever we see, feel, touch, they accumulate as an impressions in the mind. The mind becomes the knower number 2. Sense organ changes, the seer changes. Sometimes it changes the role to be known. Same thing with the knower number 2, the mind. But the knower number 3 never changes. What is that knower number 3? I'm conscious, so I'm consciousness. So simply recognize knower number 2 and knower number 3. We are doing nothing. Knower number 1, 2, 3. So the master gives us a formula now. Knower number 1 and 2 are formed, created, experiences, has millions of objects, feeling, thoughts, sensations. Seer number 3 is never formed. Oh, why? It is I am conscious, so I am consciousness. Seer number 2, mind is a subtle matter. It becomes the seer only because of it becomes the knower only because of I am conscious. And I am conscious is not the mind. No, it is expression. So we give an example of moonlight is the mind, sun is the knower number 3. So what message it is in terms of knowledge? I think, I speak, I act, I have pain, discomfort, duality, conflict, problem, kindness, simplicity, charity, everything that I experience. So it means who is the experiencer? The mind. I simply recognize. I'm conscious, that is why there is an experiencer, there is an experience in the world. So that all the experiences, the experiencer remains separate inside through the knowledge of discernment and dispassion. And that brings us to the realization what is real and unreal. By what appears real but it is not is the knower number 2 and knower number 1. I see you and other human beings, so I see their bodies. Here, knower number 1. I understand. Knower number 2. What do I understand? That you are different from me. How you are different from me? When I see your body only, body is made up of the matter. Matter is the same. Carbohydrate, protein, etc. are not different in your body than mine. So when we think like this, it takes the mind back. And then the mind says, now I am tired. Okay, no, number 3. In that state, we recognize what is real, what is unreal. So in daily life, you don't say that, oh, it's a good morning. There is no good morning. Sun never rises in the morning. It never rises. I know it. That is enough. Where there is unreal, there hides the real. Where there is a false, there is lies the truth, and that truth is the real self. We cannot scratch and remove what is false, but we simply recognize false as a false. Discernment, dispassion, 6 deserts are working behind. Okay. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand. Your mind on the left hand. Lift your Buddha palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside. Know your experiences, bring the hands down.